Senator from Oklahoma is recognized.
I only want to be here to thank the senator from Alaska and Senator Thune for bringing up this, trying to bring the attention to the issue of the endangerment findings. I've been discussing the incoming economic train wreck that could result from these regulations since the Massachusetts versus EPA was decided back in 2007. The EPA's regulatory reach could go everywhere. It could go into schools, hospitals, assisted living facilities, and just about any activity that meets the minimum thresholds of the Clean Air Act. Despite the attempts to draft an exemption for small businesses by the senior senator from California, this effort would be hollow at best. Upon issuance of mobile source regulations, the EPA has proposed in its light-duty vehicle greenhouse gas emission standards, the farmers and small sources still retain the obligation under the Clean Air Act. And this obligation is enforceable through citizen suits, and which we have confirmed through environmental groups that will follow. So we know that's going to happen. And I would have to say this as the ranking member on the Environment and Public Works Committee: the more we get into this, the more complications we find. In the process of coming up with some type of an endangerment finding, we find that the information science has been suppressed. We know the case of Dr. Alan Carlin, who claims that his assessment of the latest science of global warming wasn't considered in the endangerment proposal. So we have the endangerment proposal. Some people are not aware of how this process works. Then ultimately, if the findings are there, that's when they reach into every life in America. However, this Dr. Carlin has been with the EPA for a long period of time, and he was upset that his information was intentionally suppressed. Then we find out that information concerning the economics, such as we found through the U.S. Treasury's assessment, when they were trying to say during the consideration of this, perhaps this modified bill, that it would be the cost of a postage stamp a day, that in fact it would have been some $1,761 per family every year. Now we try to relate that back to what kind of a tax increase this is. If you remember, back in the year 1993, we had the Clinton-Gore tax increase, largest tax increase in decades. It was the inheritance tax, marginal rates, capital gains, every kind of tax imaginable. And if you add all of that up, that was a $32 billion tax increase. Well, this would be almost 10 times that much. So I think as we progress along the line of the endangerment finding, we know how it's going to be life-changing for every element of our society, and we are so I really appreciate the fact that both Senator Murkowski and Senator Thune had their efforts to bring this issue of endangerment finding to the forefront. I'm not sure that it was the best idea to try to get a one-year moratorium, because in a way that might suppress some of the activity that's going on to expose how bad this is to the public. So having said that, I appreciate yielding a small amount of time to me, and I will yield the floor.